Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Sai from Naruto. For this pattern you're going to need skin tone, the paler the better, a bit of gray, 2 red bands, black bands, a couple of white bands, not a lot, and some C-clips. For the eyes I'm using a couple of small black beads and I'll be threading them on with some dental floss. You can use black beads or black bands, and you'll want a hook and holding hook and your loom in the offset configuration. So just so you know, if there's something you're not happy with here, I will be giving some alternatives in terms of shaping as we go along. Yeah, so let's begin. I'm going to start with the legs, and I'll just show you this part first. If you want your feet to be a little shorter, you can take out these last 2 bands here, and I'll point that out when we get to them. So let me turn my pattern around here. We're going to take 1 black band, wrap it on the hook 1, 2, 3 times. Put this onto 2 black bands. And you can put the other side back on, slide it down a little bit, take a single skin tone band, wrap it 1, 2, 3 times, and you want to bring that in between the 2 sides of the black. So pull the closer side over and that skin tone will come to the middle. Now we're going to put this onto 2 black bands. Put it at the end of your hook and slide through each section in order. And replace. Oh, and I can see, even though I slid it in order, the skin tone still popped itself through. So let's fix that. This is for his sandals here. Now we're going to put this onto another set of double black bands. And at this point you can move on to the skin tone for the leg, or you can do those added 2 pieces for the top of the boot. And those can be double bands or doubled over bands, which is what I did here. I think I'm going to stick with my original pattern. So instead of taking 2 bands together, I'll keep it this way. 2 bands will make it a little thicker and a little bit bigger. I'm going to take a single, stretch it, twist it, bring it back over itself. Now it's doubled over, and this can go on the end of the hook and come through. This makes a little bend, makes it more like an ankle, and I'm going to do 1 more of the same. And then for the rest of the leg, I would suggest you keep it as you see it here, unless you want it to be a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, and you can adjust your number of chains accordingly. I'm gonna stick with my original and take 8 sets of double bands and run each of them through the bands on the hook. So that's the first time. The second one. So we're going for a total of 8. This is 3 sets of double bands. Making sure it goes through everything. You can untwist as you go if anything is getting is rolling around there. 1, 2. Oh my gosh, I forgot something. Hold on, let's pull these off for a second. We need the little ankle part. Sorry about that. Grab, put your hook right back through. You might have to redo the last one if it's come loose there. We are going to add 2 cleans. Sorry, I completely forgot. Double over 1, pull it through. It's okay that we did that extra part because now we've got our sets of bands lined up and ready to go. And second one. And then we can do our 8 sets of black again. And here they are ready for us to grab. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you can leave this where it is, or if it's too much, you can put it onto another hook. We'll do the other boot and leg the exact same way. Take a single black. We're going a little bit faster here, you'll see. Wrap it 1, 2, 3 times. Pull that onto 2 black bands. Replace the ends. Grab a single skin tone band, wrap it on the end 1, 2, 3 times, and bring that in the middle, into the middle. Pull that onto 2 black bands. Now remember, if you did modify on the other foot, you want to do the same modification here. So if you had a shorter boot or whatnot, just watch that you're doing things evenly. Second set of double black bands, and we want a single doubled over black band. And another of the same. And this time we'll remember we need our 2 skin tone doubled over single bands. So here's 1 and 2. And we're switching to pairs of double bands in black, and we're going to want 8 pairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I just want to see why this is so twisty here. See if I can do something about that. Okay. It's a little better. I gave it a little stretch. So this is 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to move to the arms. So we're doing each arm separately. I would suggest that you stick with me for this, but if you want the arms to be longer, you can add more to the top black on the right side, or I guess this is his left side, or extra blacks on the right side. Just make sure it's an even addition. You could also use double bands, so 2 at a time instead of doubled over singles. But this I kind of like this look myself. This is what I would recommend you stick to. It's up to you though. For the left arm with the extra skin tone, we're taking 2 black bands, wrapping them 2, 3 times on the hook, and we pull those onto doubled over skin tones. We want 6 of them, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to switch to black for the next 4 doubled over singles. Now I'm just going to mention to you at this point, once I fix this up here, we will be doing some parts by some finishing touches by hook rather than loom. because I tried it on the loom first, and I think it works better if you do it by hand after, even if it's I'm not sure how to word it, a little more complicated, I guess, but I'll walk you through all of it and it won't be that bad. 2, 3, 4. I'll explain the method I tried for doing it by loom, but it does come out kind of lumpy. This has a nicer fit, so that's what I'll be talking you through later. Just thought I'd give you the heads up now. I know some of you, like me, are in terror of hook work and prefer the loom because it's a little neater, but this comes out much nicer. Other arm, 2 black strap, 1, 2, 3 times. Pull onto 1 doubled over skin tone band. And then we've got, how many was this? 10 doubled over single black bands. So this is 1, 2, and your arms are going to curl a little bit. Don't worry, I'll show you at the end how you can cinch them in, if you're so inclined. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You can put your hook down now for the next little bit. We're going to the loom. Okay, so we need a couple of gray bands. We're going to come down with double gray bands from the top center to the second center peg, and 2 gray bands from the top center to the top far side, and 2 from the top or second center to the second peg down on the side closest to you. And we're coming down 1, 2, 3, 4 times with double gray bands on each of the rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And your middle row is gonna finish just above the other 2. Now I'm gonna show you here the belly. You have a couple of options. That black band's still stuck in it. It's been there forever. You can make this area shorter by 1 set if you want. You can also take out the white belt area section, or you can leave out the white belt and add that in after. I'm thinking I might want to try that this time. So I'm going to do my 3 rows of double bands for skin tone, and this is a row of doubled over white bands that you would just place on the set below. I'm going to leave that out, and I'm going to just wrap a band on after the fact. And you can decide if you want a longer belly, you can keep that extra set, and if you want a shorter belly, you can follow along with me. So I'm going to do 3 sets of double skin tone bands on each of the rows. And I'll reiterate at this point, you could add in 1 row of doubled over single whites for the belt, or you can do as I'm doing and leave that as it is. Next part, we've got black bands, double black bands, coming down once on each of the rows. Now you have a couple of options. Well, let's put our arms on and then we'll look at the legs. So check that your left, or your, I'm looking at this on the left, this is my left. Left arm, which is mostly black, is going on the left side, the side closest to you. Pop it over. Make sure it's kind of curling inwards and not backwards and outwards. And the other arm is going to go on the opposite side. If it is curling the wrong way, what you can do is put another hook in from the opposite direction, pull it off, and then press it back down, if that makes sense. Now for the legs, you have a couple of ways that you can attach it. Originally, I just put both onto double black bands. I'll show you in a couple of different ways here. Oops. Oh my gosh, this is not my day here. Come back, leg, come back. Okay. So you can pull them both on, stretch them across the bottom. Separate and bring the bands that they're on over that bottom middle. Now, my problem with this is it kind of pulls it inwards. So I'm thinking I want to do this differently this way, so I will show you another method, bearing in mind that this is probably the easiest one here because you can just loop straight up from underneath. It works kind of as a holding band. So what I'm going to do instead here is I'm going to take 2 bands and put one side onto those, and I'm going to stretch it from that last middle peg that we used to the last peg that we used on the side. Now this might actually make it more bulky going outwards, but we're going to try it. We'll see how this works for this pattern. We'll do the same for the other leg. Pull 2 bands through and stretch it across from the middle to the opposite side on the last pegs we've used, which are your 4th pegs up from the bottom on each of those rows. And then we can do a cap band, and this is actually the reason I don't like this method so much, is that this cap band, which we'll wrap 1, 2, 3 times, sometimes leaves a little bulge that we have to hide after. Okay, next moment of choice here is your holding bands. Now I've used doubled over single bands for all of these. I'll just show you again. That looks like this. I would recommend it for the top gray section because this part is especially bulky. Now if you want the midsection to be a little wider or equally as wide as the top, then you can use single bands and stretch those across just like so. Again, I'm trying for the, you know what, I am going to do singles this time, and then I'll give you the comparison in the thumbnail and you can see the difference there. So this will make a more rectangular body. It's going to be more even going down, but you might also find that it leaves it a little loose and you'll have to cinch in some bands. If you want to keep it really skinny, then use doubled over singles all the way. The last one I'm going to do, it will be black. Again, you can double that over or not, it's your choice. And the grays, I would say double them over just because we're going to add an extension and that's going to make the top section really, really thick. Now for the extension, we're taking 2 black bands, coming from the 2nd peg down on the side to the 3rd peg down on the side, and you're just laying it on top of the bands that are there already. And we come down again, and again, and I think it was only 3 times, but let me check my picture one more time. 1, 2, 3, good. And opposite side, 2 bands from the 2nd peg to the 3rd peg down, 2 from the 3rd to the 4th, and 2 bands from the 4th peg down to the 5th peg down. Now take a black band, bring it across your 3rd pegs down to make a triangle holding band, and repeat that once on the set below. So we're ready to loom the body. We're going to come down to the 4th peg from the bottom in the middle, and what you'll need to do is get underneath your holding band and just watch that it stays on. You might want to put your finger on top of it. Get your 2 top bands. I'm actually going to bring them down under the next peg for the moment until I can see them and catch them. and then I can take them off because I don't want to stretch them too much, and we'll bring those to the right side. And let's loop up. Oh, you know, another thing, because I'm doing this differently, I can see this is going to cover the connecting part for the legs. I don't want that, so I'm going to put my hook through the leg, grab those bands and pull them through, and then lay them onto the side. Let's hold on because I want to make sure I'm getting the right ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab those 2, pull them through. Okay, there shouldn't be any tension on it once it's all the way. I'm gonna loop up one time on that side, finding the bottom 2 and bringing them through. And I think I'm gonna loop up one more time just to be extra safe. And then we'll come back to that 4th peg from the bottom in the center, find the next 2 bands and bring them to the left. But as they're coming around, I want once more, make sure I've got the right ones. There we go. To reach through the bands from the leg chain and pull those 2 through so that it doesn't cover the legs. And I'm going to loop up once, push back your bottom ones, and loop up once and loop up twice. Now for the middle, you can see this is popped over. We need to put that back. Reach inside for the bottom one and loop forward twice. Now all our rows are at the same spot and we can continue up. We'll go up the middle until we get to the 3rd peg from the top now. So we're starting at the 8th peg down. This is where we left off. And we're grabbing the bottom 2 and looping forward. And I'm going to stop here, as I said, at the 3rd peg from the top. Continue up on the side. You can go straight up, looping bottom 2s until we get to the section with the black on it. So loop up that first gray, and then what you want to do is find those 2 top black, pull them to the side, and with your hook you want to go under your top, well, there's actually nothing on top of them, these should be at the very top. Just grab those 2 black bands, nothing else, and bring them forward. Now on this next one we have this crossover black band, so you need to avoid that. You're going to push back the top black band, grab the 2 black bands that you've pulled to the side, the ones that are coming from the peg above, and bring those carefully up. While you're doing this, you want to watch that your bands aren't popping off as you go, so you can hold on to the peg a little as you're reaching. And once more, we need those black bands. This part is a little bit tricky, so take your time. See there, I got one, and now I need to go back for the other. And I'm watching that I'm not grabbing the holding band instead, which is really where it gets tricky. They're all sitting really close and really tight. So take your time, pull your band to the side, make sure you can see it on the side, and once you have it, you can bring it upwards. Now put your hand on the top side peg, and you're going to release all of these black bands over to the side. We're going to try to do it without losing our gray holding bands. So it's really just 2 that you're popping off, the 3rd peg down and the 4th peg down. We come back to the 5th peg down, reach in, push back everything but the bottom 2 gray, and loop those forward. Get the bottom 2 gray, loop them forward, and your last 2 gray, I got one there, there's one more to go. Stretch those down again so we can get a hold. And when you get to that 2nd peg up, you're going to reach in for the bottom 2 gray and bring them to the 2nd center peg. Now at this point, if you're feeling there's a little tension on your loom, you can start to pop off some of the bands from the pegs on that side. And we're going to do some work on the opposite side. So find where you stopped. It was the 6th peg from the bottom. And you're just going to keep looping up your skin tones. Make sure to push back your holding bands. And then you've got that 1 set of gray. And then we're back to looping blacks. So the top 2 black forward. And then we're on the tricky ones. We're going for the next 2 black bands here. And I'm trying to grab them from above the gray crossover, which is this one. Trying to kind of catch it and roll it up and over. And then we have one more of those. So the last 2. And hold on to that peg, the second peg from the top. We're going to go to the 3rd peg down and bring all the black bands over. The 3rd peg down, bring the black bands over. We're back to the 5th peg down where that gray was. Loop the bottom 2 gray forward and loop up 2 more times, bottom 2 grays. Loop to the center, bottom 2 grays, go to your 3rd peg down in the middle and loop up twice. And then you can put this onto a holding hook, and we're going to take the rest of the body off of the loom. I'm just going to hold this in place here while I release the rest, and then we'll move on to the head. Do this part carefully. You don't want your bands to snap, and if you do see bands that are loose as you go, you can try to correct them or at least snag them so that you can weave them in later. So I don't know about you, but I kind of like this legging set better and this belly better. So you'll decide what works for you. I think what I'm going to do here, see how my time is on the camera. I'm going to just switch hooks for a minute. You don't have to do that. And what we can do, because this feels a little loose to me, so I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to take a piece out of the side, a piece from the middle. This is totally optional. This is just something that I feel like doing for mine. And I'm going to weave it across by putting it under nearby bands and pulling the further piece over. And my idea is that I can tighten up the waist a little bit this way. Oh, see, that's not so bad now. That actually does look pretty clean. But I might suggest that you just stick with that original method, and I'll make an annotation when I'm putting the video forth. So give me a second and be back and we'll work on the head. Okay, so I tidied this up a little bit to my liking, and I've just put a C-clip in the back to secure that. We're coming to the loom now, and we're going to do 2 black bands from the top center to the top right, 2 black from the top center to the top left, 1 set of double black bands down on each row, and then we will have 3 sets of double skin tone bands coming down the center, starting at that 2nd peg down, and 2 sets of double skin tone bands on either side. Same for the other side here. And then 2 skin tone, oops, yep, that's right. 2 skin tone bands from the 4th side to the 5th center, and from the other 4th side to the 5th center. Now we're going to take a single black band. No, I did use skin tone throughout. Single skin tone band, double it over, put it across your 2nd pegs down, and once more for the 4th pegs down. On the remaining one, we're going to add the eyes, which I've already pulled to the side here. If you've got bands, you can wrap 1 band 3 times onto your hook, and do the same with the 2nd band, pull both onto a skin tone. If you have beads with a larger hole, you can do put them both onto your hook. Oh, I just threw my bead somewhere. Where did it go? I'd have to get a new one. That's frustrating, and it'll show up just as soon as I've done the video. Okay, new bead it is. Let's find 2 that match there. Alright, if you're using beads with a larger hole, you can stick them both onto your hook and then just transfer them onto that single skin tone. For beads with a smaller hole, we put them onto a piece of floss or thin wire, grab a single skin tone, put the floss through, put it back over, and come back through the beads from the opposite direction. There we go. Pull them on, and whichever kind of eyes you've chosen to make, you're now going to take this single skin tone band that they are on and pull that onto the third peg, just down on either side. Get your hook in between, get inside the band, and pull that over the third center peg. I've been wondering where that bead flew off to, but it's going to show up in a weird place later, like inside one of my containers here or something. Alright, so we can add the body. Make sure it's facing up and put your bands onto the 5th peg down in the center. If you want to try to make these extensions now, you can try it by putting down 2 black bands from the first peg to the second on either side, and 2 across the next, and then you'll need a black holding band coming across. So it would be just like what we did with the body, and you would do it in exactly the same way. I'm not going to do it that way. As I said, I felt it looked a little lumpy. I'm going to be adding it after, but that's a choice you can make. Let's reach inside the under the neck, 5th peg, get the top 2. We're bringing them to the left side. Next 2 are going up to the right side. And the last ones we're going to loom upwards. We'll loom 3 times in the middle. 1, 2, 3. Come onto your closer side, push back everything but the last bottom 2 here. And we're going to grab those up and bring them forward. Push back all but the bottom 2 and bring those forward. Push back, get your bottom 2 black, bring them forward, and loop the last 2 to the middle. Repeat for the other side. Loop up your skin tone once and twice, and then your black bands to the top, and then black bands to the middle. Go to the 2nd peg down in the middle and loop up one more time. We're going to take a black band, have it ready on your left hand. With your right hand, you're going to take the open part of your hook and face it away from you. Push your hook through the bands on the top center peg. Grab that securing band, keep a little tension on it, and as you're coming up, you want to turn your hook, so twist it so that the open part faces up. Then you can grab the other side and pull one side over the other to create a slip knot. Just carefully take this off of the loom. Again, watch for any loose bands. You can secure them at any point. Well, once you've got your hand free, that is. Find your front, push your eyes through. Now, just for the moment, I want to make sure this securing band's kind of in the middle. I'm just going to put it on a C-clip for the moment. You will want to have a few C-clips on hand here. I'll do the headband next. So that was 2 gray bands. I'm reaching through with my hook. It's kind of the middle of the V of this outer black chain. And I want to pull my gray through. Now if you want, you can put this other side on a C-clip or another hook so it doesn't slip away. I'm just going to do this on my hand. And I'm going to take that securing band off of the C-clip and slide it through the gray. Oops. And then I'll put it back onto the C-clip. Now we go to the other side. We're going to reach through. We'll aim for about the same spot there. So it's going through the middle of the black V on the side. I'm going to grab the gray bands. This is the front you're looking at, and I'm going to pull them through to the back. So this is the back we're looking at now. And then what we want to do, just putting my hook through from the other direction, grab that securing band again, take it off the C-clip, pull it through, put it back on the C-clip. So there, your headband is done. We're going to add the little extension for the hair. 2 black bands, get them ready on your finger. You're going to look for the top chain of skin and then the second one down. Turn it to the side and you want to find the outside 2. So the one that's furthest back from that second chain down and the one that's closest in. Pull your 2 black bands through. Before you replace, you're going to weave through again. Now you might want to use a holding hook to help, but you don't have to. Go through the next 2 skin tones and grab the other side. And we're going to take 2 black bands and pull it through all of those. And go through the next 2, which are black. Put the other side back on. Take a single black band. Pull it through all of those. You can do a couple at a time if you want to. I'm going to just grab, go under a couple of bands near the top. It doesn't matter so much which. And now this one that's closest to the front, I'm going to pull it through all of the other bands. And secure that onto a C-clip. And we still have the C-clip here at the back with the securing band, and we used it for the headband, so I'm just going to use that. We need to do the same for the opposite side. Come to the other side. We're going through the first and the furthest back and the furthest forward of the skin tones. Pull your black bands through. There's 2. Go through the next 2 skin tones. Put the other side of your black band on. Repeat one more time. 2 black bands. Put them on the end. Pull them through. Sorry, the angle's a little harder to see on this side. You can go back and watch the first part again if you find that angle easier to watch from. Okay, so I put the other black back on, and then we go to a single. So that was a set of 2, a set of 2, and then a single. Grab it through, just through a couple of pieces on the top. Pull that front one to the back, and we're going to put that onto a C-clip, the C-clip again. Now what I might do, just because this looks a little loose, I'm going to go under a nearby band, pull that longer one through, and that'll make it a bit more snug. Okay, so there's the head. Let's do the little leg piece here. For that, I just took 2 bands, stretched them, pulled them over that leg, and twisted it again, and twisted it again. You can kind of roll it up to where you want it to sit. Now, if that's too much, you can just leave it as at 1 band. I think maybe the first time I did just do 1. So let me take one of these off and we'll see how that looks. Always easier said than done, huh? Okay, let's do single. We'll try a single. We're going to wrap it 1, 2, and twist it a 3rd time and then pull it up. I think that's actually nicer. Okay. Put that to where you want it. For the belts, we're just going to take us double bands. Now you have a couple of ways to do this. You can connect it the way we connected the headband. Just weave it in on each side, which I would actually probably recommend, or you can take 2 or 3 bands and do what we did where for the thigh, I don't know what this is, the little weapon holder, where we just put them across. And you can wrap it over again. That might make it a little tight though. Or what you can do is line them up here, turn to the back. This one's too loose. I'm going to find a tighter one that isn't so stretchy. Once you have your 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, however many you want lined up, you can go to the back, take a band from under, reach through a band that's over, pull one under the other, and put that onto a C-clip. Now I have one here from when I adjusted the leg area, so that's fine, or you can put a new one on. The other thing, as I said, you can do what you did with the headband and just go through, pull your whites, pull your whites back through there and do the same for the other side. It might pinch things up a little though. Okay, so we've got 2 more things to do. You're gonna like this one, it's not too tricky. Grab a red band, put your hook through kind of where the gray is starting here. I'd say like go down 1 chain, maybe 2 if you want. Take your red, pull it through to the back, grab it over the shoulder. I think I am going to put this a little lower. Okay, so I'm going down to the second chain, second set of black here roughly. Take your red, pull it through to the back, grab it above the shoulder, put one end over the other, put it on a C-clip. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we want to try to reach through at about the same position. So this is kind of under the first set of gray, but you might find a place you like better. Pull it to the back. Just making sure this is going through everything. Reach it up over behind the neck and pull it over. Pull one piece under the other, and you can put this on the same C-clip you were using. Alright, so that's that. And I was going to show you how to secure the arms. So if you don't want your arms to be this floppy, what you can do, line it up on the side, turn it to the back, grab a piece out of the body towards the side at that, like that length down, grab a little, like 1 strand out of the hand, pull it under, grab another band, pull it under, and you can put this onto the C-clip that you have or onto a new C-clip. I'm just going to keep weaving it across because then I can grab my other arm too. So I'm going under a band, pulling the other one under, and there isn't a specific band to grab each time. You just want to watch you're not grabbing from like far away because that will pull your body tight. Otherwise almost any will do. And same thing for the other side. Go through a band towards the side, grab a piece of the hand, pull it back under, and we kind of weave it in and put it on a C-clip. So let me grab a C-clip now, because I think we're almost done here. I think we are done. Let's have one more look at the guy. Make any adjustments you like, and there is your sai. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll check out my Naruto video as well, and have a look at some of my other videos. Take care.